Dear learners, today, the focus of my presentation is hypotheses concept, sources, types, research, directional, non-directional, null, and characteristics of a good hypothesis. Let us first try to understand concept of hypothesis in education research. A hypothesis in education research is a clear, specific, and testable statement or prediction that researchers make about the relationship between variables in a study. It serves as a guide for empirical investigation, providing a basis for drawing conclusions and advancing knowledge in the field of education. In education research, hypotheses play a crucial role in shaping investigations, fostering evidence-based decision-making, and contributing to the ongoing improvement of educational processes and outcomes. The term hypothesis has its roots in ancient Greek. It comes from the combination of two Greek words, hypo, by this Greek word means under or beneath. Thesis, theta sigma iota, this word means a placing or a proposition. Therefore, when combined, hypothesis essentially means a proposition under consideration or a tentative assumption made in order to draw out and test its logical or empirical consequences. The concept of forming hypotheses and testing them systematically is fundamental to the scientific method, and the term has been used in this context for centuries. The word has been part of the scientific and philosophical discourse, with roots traced back to ancient Greek philosophy and scientific inquiry. What are various characteristics of a good hypothesis? 1. Testability. A good hypothesis should be testable through empirical observation, experimentation, or data collection. Example: students who engage in daily meditation will show a statistically significant reduction in stress levels compared to students who do not meditate. 2. Falsifiability. The hypothesis should be structured in a way that it can be proven wrong with evidence. It should be possible to reject or disprove the hypothesis. Example: increasing the amount of time students spend on homework has no impact on their academic performance. 3. Clarity and precision. A good hypothesis should be clear, specific, and free from vague or ambiguous language to ensure that the research objectives are well defined. Example: students who receive individualized feedback on their writing assignments will demonstrate greater improvement in writing skills than students who receive generic feedback. 4. Specificity. The hypothesis should explicitly state the expected relationship between variables, including the nature and direction of the relationship. Example: increasing the availability of STEM programs in elementary schools will lead to a higher percentage of students pursuing STEM careers. 5. Relevance to research question. A good hypothesis should directly address the research question and provide a focused and concise statement about the variables under investigation. Example: research question: what impact does parental involvement have on students' academic achievement? Hypothesis: increasing parental involvement positively correlates with improved student academic achievement. 6. Conciseness. A good hypothesis should express the main idea without unnecessary complexity. It should be concise and to the point. Example: implementing a school-wide mindfulness program will result in improved attention and focus among elementary school students. 7. Consistency with existing knowledge. The hypothesis should align with existing evidence and be consistent with the broader body of knowledge in the field. Example: based on existing research on learning styles, students with a preference for visual learning will perform better in a multimedia-based learning environment compared to those with a preference for auditory learning. 8. Predictive power. A good hypothesis should have the potential to predict outcomes, allowing for future testing and validation. Example: students who participate in a summer reading program will demonstrate improved reading comprehension skills in the subsequent academic year. Sources of hypotheses in education research. Hypotheses in education research emerge from various sources, reflecting the complexity and diversity of educational phenomena. Understanding these sources is crucial for formulating testable and meaningful hypotheses. Here are key sources along with examples. 1. Educational theories. Existing educational theories provide a conceptual framework for understanding and explaining phenomena in education. Example: hypothesis derived from a learning theory. According to constructivist theory, students who engage in hands-on activities will demonstrate better understanding of scientific concepts than those who rely solely on traditional lecture-based instruction. 2. Observations and experiences. Direct observations of educational settings, teaching practices, and student behaviors can inspire hypotheses. Example: hypothesis from observation. After observing increased student engagement during group discussions, it is hypothesized that incorporating more collaborative activities into the curriculum will enhance overall learning outcomes. 3. Previous research findings. Building on the findings of previous studies allows researchers to extend knowledge or investigate specific aspects further. Example: hypothesis based on previous research. Given the positive correlation between parental involvement and student academic achievement found in prior studies, it is hypothesized that increasing parental engagement will positively impact student performance. 4. Educational practices and policies. Hypotheses may arise from an examination of current educational practices, policies, or interventions. Example: hypothesis from educational practice. With the implementation of a new inquiry-based curriculum, it is hypothesized that students will develop stronger critical thinking skills compared to those following a traditional curriculum. 5. Educational challenges and issues. Addressing educational challenges and issues often leads to the formulation of hypotheses aimed at finding solutions. Example: hypothesis addressing a challenge. Given the increasing rates of student absenteeism, it is hypothesized that implementing a mentorship program will improve attendance and overall student well-being. 6. Emerging trends and technologies. Advancements in technology and changes in educational trends can inspire hypotheses related to their impact on teaching and learning. Example: hypothesis from technological trends. As virtual reality becomes more accessible, it is hypothesized that incorporating VR simulations into science education will enhance students' understanding of complex scientific concepts. 7. Educational policy changes. Changes in educational policies or reforms may spark hypotheses about their effects on various aspects of the education system. Example: hypothesis from policy change. In response to a shift towards standardized testing, it is hypothesized that increased emphasis on test preparation will lead to improvements in student test scores. Lastly, let me discuss various types of hypotheses. 1. Research hypothesis, also known as an alternative hypothesis. It states the expected relationship or difference between variables. It is the hypothesis that researchers aim to support through their study. Example: students who receive additional tutoring will perform better on standardized tests than those who do not receive tutoring. 2. Directional hypothesis predicts the direction of the expected relationship or difference between variables. It specifies the expected nature of the effect. Example: increasing the amount of sunlight will positively influence plant growth. 3. Non-directional hypothesis predicts the existence of a relationship or difference without specifying the direction. It suggests that there will be an effect, but it does not specify whether it will be positive or negative. Example: there is a significant difference in test scores between Group A and Group B. 4. Null hypothesis. H0 asserts that there is no significant relationship, effect, or difference between variables. It is the default assumption that researchers aim to test against. Example: there is no significant difference in anxiety levels between participants who receive a placebo and those who receive the experimental drug. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel Education and Teacher Education at Shokin Bilal.